If you're anything like me, you've woken up many days and felt lost, sometimes many years and felt lost. You don't know exactly what to do, you don't know exactly where to go, you don't know exactly where to turn. And what happens is when you feel lost and when you're fumbling through your year, you don't really take advantage of every day and you don't take advantage of every week and every month because you're sort of just hoping that it moves fast so you could go to sleep or that you could pass through this period of your life that you don't know what you're doing. And I've experienced this many times in my life. And one thing that I've gotten really good at, and I'm going to share with you in this video on how exactly to do that, is to plan, right? So it says that 1 hour of planning is equal to 20 hours of confusion, right? So when you plan, you're actually able to figure out where it is you want to go so you don't have to fumble through the rest of the day, the week, the month, the year. So you want to be planning right now and knowing exactly where it is you're going in the year. And a lot of people, by the way, a lot of people don't like to do this because they're scared that if they make a plan and if they make a target, if they make a goal and their plan changes, well, then they feel like a fraud because they didn't stick to their plan or they didn't achieve their plan or accomplish what it is that they set out to do. But what people don't realize is that your plan is living, your plan is breathing, your plan is alive. So I want to help you right now in this video to do that. But before I do, I'm going to ask you to hit the like button, leave a comment, and smash the subscribe button if you're not already following me. Hit the little bell so that you get my updates so that you and I can get connected and stay connected more often. So very simple, ladies and gentlemen, just to break this down for you. You want to grab a sophisticated device called the pencil, an equally sophisticated device called a piece of paper. Or you might want to open up a Google Doc, which is how I did it this year. And on my Google Doc, I very simply wrote down, I just brainstormed. I don't know if you remember in school, but my first grade teacher, her name was Esther. She taught us how to brainstorm. And she taught us to get out of our own way when we brainstorm. In other words, don't stop to think about the ideas. Are they good? Are they bad? Just brainstorm. Allow your brain to literally come up with a storm so that you could get all of your ideas out on paper. And then once they're out on paper, then we can work backwards and say, how do we achieve this? Is this something I truly want? Is it not something I truly want? So again, you want to, and by the way, don't wait to do this. Don't just listen to this and move on, because if you don't do this right now at the beginning of your year, you're going to do yourself a very big disservice for the rest of the year. You want to make sure that you have this clear out on paper. So again, you want to write down, you want to brainstorm. So just to give you a few examples of things that I had on my list, just to jog your memory, or to help you with your creative juices. So on my list this year, I want to produce a full feature-length film about the Messiah, about Mashiach. That's number one thing that I have on my goal this year. How? I don't know. Where? I don't know. When? I don't know. But all I know is that I'm getting it out on that list. Number two is I want to put $1 million cash in my bank, free and clear. That is 100% my profit. That was my number two. Number three was I wanted to weigh 183 pounds. Right now I'm about 197. I want to have a rocking year with my wife. I put it on it that I want to have weekly sessions with a marriage coach with my wife and I, even if things are doing great, but I want to have an amazing marriage. So I put that on my list. I spit out things. I think I have about 30 bullet points that I put on this list, and I just allowed myself to really go bang, 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 bang. So that was for my personal goals. All right, my personal roadmap, if you will, for what I want my year to look like. And you could do this very simply. Don't overthink this. This should be simple. You don't have to go to college for this. You don't have to graduate from anything for this. Actually, the simpler the better. Should be very simple bullet points. If it's more than 2 pages long, you've done something wrong. Okay? So that was on that end of it. And then I went to work with my business partners, and each one of my businesses, we came up with targets. We want to have 100 clients. We want to have $5 million in revenue. We want to have 2 new employees. We want to have whatever. We want to focus on this type of product. We want to cut away that type of product. So in my business life, I actually went a little bit more granular because business is a little bit more tangible, right? In your personal life, you have things like you want to have a better marriage, or you want to have a better relationship with your children. In your business life, you could really quantify things: X amount of dollars, X amount of employees, X amount of products. Maybe you don't maybe you work for somebody else, and maybe you don't own your own business, and maybe you want that raise, or you want that job, or you want that position. You want to write that out there. You want to write your goals out. And you might be saying, well, I already know it. I already have it into my head. Guys, I can't explain. There's some type of magic that happens when you bring something from your mind into your hands and down into the world. There's something that happens there. And also, when you write stuff down, you're able to reference back to it. So something that's really fun is every year at this time, I go through last year's goals and I see what I hit and what I didn't. And I will tell you this, that most of the time I exceed my targets. And I do things that I never even dreamt that I would have done. And you want to get in that habit. So if you find yourself, like I mentioned, at this time of year, if you find yourself a little disoriented after the holidays, if you find yourself a little bit lost, if you find yourself a little bit stale, all right, that happens too, by the way. You know, the other day I came home and everything was going in my favor, thank God. Business was good, family was good, the weather was good. I was feeling healthy. I felt all these things. I had my relationship with God was good. I had all these things that were going good. And I said to myself, like, is this it? Is this all there? Is this all it's about? At which point I said to myself, I have to produce this movie, because if God gave me the ability to do it, then I have to do it. And yes, it's hard. And yes, it's a big undertaking. And yes, there will be a major hill to climb here. But hey, I'm bored. So you want to challenge yourself. You want to challenge yourself in the new year. Challenge yourself to reach your greatness. Challenge yourself to. You only have X amount of time in this world. You know, the older I get, I'm 34 years old now, which I know is relatively young, but it's also relatively not. You know, the average life expectancy is 70 to 80 years. God willing, I'll live to 120 in good health, but technically, let's say, you know, according to those numbers, one might say that I'm halfway through my life. And I notice the days are going quick, and I notice that the weeks are going quick, and the months are going quick, and I want to really make an impact in this world. I don't want to waste a day. I don't want to waste a minute. If God gave me and if God gave you certain talents, you have an obligation to use those. And you don't want to get caught up in the lie of mediocrity. You want to go into the business of greatness. I hope this video found you well. If you enjoyed it, like I said, please leave a like, please leave a comment, please hit that subscribe button. My name again is Berel Solomon. If this is your first time here, thank you for spending the time with me. I really appreciate it, and I hope to spend a little bit more time with you. I drop these videos every single day, so make sure to follow my channel, and let's rock and roll. I love you guys. Be well.